A flying car built for everyday people. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us from Doroni Aerospace is CEO Doron Merdinger. Hi, Doron.
Hey, hi, Fred. Thank you for inviting me here.
A pleasure to meet you. You're doing some really exciting things. Let's start with a little bit of background about you and your company. You've been at this, I think, for a while.
Yeah, almost should be 10 years. When I really started it as a garage project. It's a true garage project. But I think the inspiration came, like probably many of us, early childhood. I mean, when we saw all these sci-fi movies, and we believed, and I still do, obviously, that the flying cars are here and they should be personal. Saying that, I think we're at the point of time that technology and public acceptance and regulation converging to this time. So, yeah, here we are.
Tell us a bit about what has happened with regulation and how it's opening things up.
Right. So, the name flying a car basically changed to eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing. And I think it basically the pioneering, the big companies, the air taxi ones are known today. Joby and Archer are basically the big icebreakers who are leading this charge. So this is a form of a service, a more complicated way to certify both the aircraft and the pilot. And we are really behind them, the personal ones, under the new Mosaic rules that we've been taking part of forming those rules with the FAA. Those will be certified under light sport aircraft category. They announced the first set of rules last year in July, and the second will be this coming July. And hopefully by the end of this year, we have those. We already know what they're involved, what they're involved, and we are basically have been developing to that level of certification.
So you have a craft called the H1X. Tell us about it and the design, how it's different from the companies you were talking about.
Right, right. So um, basically, most of us got the inspiration from drones, the way drone fly. And drone will basically take off. I have a prototype here. Drone will take off by increasing the RPM on the if it's a quadrocopter on the four props. In our case, it's an octacopter with two thrusters here. And then basically it will transition, increasing the RPM of the rear propellers, that by pushing it forward, propelling it forward. And so you get this tilt and feeling for the person or the passengers. So it's kind of inefficient. The way that some of them solved it, much like the Osprey, the V-22, the aircraft, is by transitioning the motors from vertical to horizontal. This is how most of the air taxi are doing it. We decided not to go to that route because transitioning requires more actuators, and basically the aircraft become volatile while transitioning. More moving parts, more points of failure. The idea is to reduce risk. In our case, what we did is we basically you take off like a drone and then you fly forward with these rear thrusters, while the controlling surfaces will remain the ducted fans. We are also different in a way that we use ducted fans, enclosed propellers. They give four big advantages. The first is it's about 40 to 50% more efficient in terms of energy consumption than a regular exposed propeller, because of the vortices at the tip are being utilized for downward wash for air. And it's also safer. Specifically, these are electric motors, so much like your electric car, you can't hear them and you will not be able to see those propellers spin. So once it's on the ground, it's dangerous for approaching people, or animals or what have you. Also, when flying in a community, and also reduce bird strike. That's another advantage. Third thing is it's also more less noise pollution in terms of frequency and decibel because of its enclosed. And the fourth one is just, it simply looks more compelling, cleaner, and design cells. So in our case, this is really one of the DNA that we have ducted fans and less moving parts as possible the way we fly.
So there are some basic things that I'm sure everybody is interested in, like how far can you go on a charge? How fast does it travel? What can it carry? Tell
Yeah,
us what you're designing.
sure. So we are certifying under LSA. LSA requires you have no more than two people, a pilot and a passenger. So it's a kind of roadster. We expected about 500-pound total payload. Range about 100 miles. Bear in mind these are direct miles, so it's unlike a car where you drive and then you have to stop and make a U-turn and you go directly to your destination. Obviously, if the weather permits and you don't have to bypass a bad weather area. So it's about 100 miles, which is driving, it will be equivalent to about 160 miles again, because of, you don't need to stop. In terms of speed, it's about 120 max speed mile per hour. We're probably cruising around 90 to 100 cruising. This will be all electric. Charging, we estimate about no more than half an hour from like 20% to 80 or 90% in a fast charger.
And what does it take in terms of knowledge, ability to be able to fly this?
Right. So this is one of the biggest things that we're bringing to the table here. Uh, so flying until now, you had to have there's a lot of information that the pilot gets inside the cockpit. We basically reduced much of this clutter because again, this is all electric eVTOL, and it's a fly-by-wire. So most of the control will be done by an autopilot. So it's just a joystick in our case, joystick and a screen will give you the information that you require as we know as of now. And basically simple controls, all the banking and yawing and whatever you need to control in order to move forward the flight. So this is kind of an aircraft, obviously certified as an aircraft, but for us it's more than a vehicle. It's a vehicle more than just a simple, or not a simple, but an aircraft.
So do you envision it operating somewhat like supervised FSD in a Tesla today? You tell the destination and it goes there? Is that what you're designing?
Yeah, so it's a good question. It will have the capability, but in terms of certification, our roadmap, we will start by the pilot will be in control, total control of the aircraft, because this is a new kid on the block here. So they will expect more. This machine will be more scrutinized, and we don't want to introduce more complexities right from the start. Obviously, it will have the capabilities, much like a drone. But to start with the flight, the pilot will be in control of the aircraft.
You're aiming to start customer deliveries, what, 2 years from now?
Yep.
Is that a reach or realistic, do you think?
Uh, this is what we're targeting. We're working hard to achieve that goal. We believe it's doable. Obviously, we'll start ramp up. It will take time. Single digit, 2028, and then ramping up. The challenge for us is really how fast we can bring it to the market and ramp up, because we have now over 600 pre-orders already.
You have a prototype that's flying now. Tell us where things stand.
Right. So we already flew a full-scale H1 version in 2023. I was there inside. I was the test pilot, and we were controlling the flight inside the facility. We got FAA certification as an experimental as well. So the FAA basically recognized these vehicles. That was encouraging. Move fast forward, we came up with the new airframe design of the H1X, which is more improved aerodynamically. It's more efficient, and so it's so important to have important aerodynamic efficient airframe specifically for an eVTOL. We just unveiled the full-scale prototype. It's a showroom model. This was not a flying one yet. But 2027 is the next phase for us for a full-scale H1X flight project testing.
Now you're pricing this, I understand, at least initially, that it's at about $350,000. Is that right?
Yeah, it grew to a 400,000. We're trying,
400,000.
yeah, we're trying to keep we know it's a challenging. We would like to get it to every person that will, at least to a mass production. That's our goal is. But sometimes you have to keep the costs. Work hardly on the cost. Costs are going up, unfortunately, as we know.
What are some of the logistics that people should know? Like, how big of a garage would it take to have one of these? And how large of a takeoff area do you need? And what about the charging infrastructure?
Right. Yeah, we get a lot of questions like that from people who already pre-orders or invested. So we are building it in a way so it can be charged as an EV, as electric vehicle. Essentially, you'll be able to take off from and land from the property that the landowner will give you permission. Given that there are no, local laws that are preventing you, we don't expect that because this should be a much more efficient in terms of noise levels and wind shear levels than most of the aircrafts out there. So yeah, we built it to a two-car garage. It's about close to 20 by 20 feet, square feet. That's kind of a square. This has always been a challenging, but so far we're doing well because in aerospace, it's a set of compromises. I mean, obviously, if you want long range, you create incredible wingspan, a small body, but then you cannot keep it in a garage, right? So we're trying to get the best of all worlds. It's a good compromise. Like I give always the example of a Swiss Army knife. So I mean, you have a good knife, high quality. You have a good screwdriver. You have everything is good. Is it the best? No, but it gives you what you were needed from it. This is what we've been building it for, is to do its mission the most perfect way. And the most important part for us, obviously, after safety, is that it will interact in our daily life. We see this a new form of transportation. So it's somewhere in between the two-dimensional world of driving a car or motorcycle, truck, whatever, four-wheel based, and aviation in terms of aircraft, high-level helicopters. So this kind of a be in between, and it will open new opportunities for people to enjoy life more, immersed in our surrounding much better than we are until now.
Is there a special kind of license a person would need to pilot this?
Yeah, so as we know today, we're talking about the sports pilot license. And it'd be certified in the sports light sport aircraft. The sports pilot license today requires about 20 to 25 hours of flight time. It's given today for a two passenger combustion engine aircraft that will take off on a runway and land on a runway. Now they're expanding it to incorporate what we do, which is powerlifters. So we don't expect, in our case, to be more than 20 to 25 hours because, again, we showed here was a clip here shot by, I think, Newsmax with his daughter on the premises, and his daughter was able to fly it pretty easy. Because again, it gives you safety features that prevents the pilot doing unnecessary movements or mistakes while controlling the aircraft.
So about the safety in an emergency, do you hit a button and it lands like a drone kind of would?
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to control. Think about it as like a three-dimensional elevator in a way. So, it knows itself in the three-dimensional world. In our case, it will ask you if see there's no command or you don't feel good, it will interact with you. And then if you don't respond, protocols can be set in, right? Automatic landing, it will decide in the area. So there are multiple features that this system can provide that other systems cannot. Also, think about it, it will be able to taxi on the ground. So unlike a helicopter, when helicopter lands, it becomes stationary. This can be taxi to charging. But in our case, there are multiple levels of redundancies. A computer on board, four computers will go into effect if one doesn't work properly, the second, third, and fourth, much like an aircraft, right? Advanced aircraft. Also, we have the body has been designed for carbon fiber monocoque. So it's like a Formula One shell in a way. It's not aluminum rivets that can crumble, right? It also many features like if one motor will be malfunction here and then in one of the ducts, the other one will ramp up, automatically stabilize the system, and also ballistic parachute to be deployed if the entire aircraft, there's a force majeure, something happens, and so deploy the entire and land the entire aircraft.
Really interesting. It sounds like you've got some redundancy there for safety.
Yeah,
Are there uses beyond personal, or are you strictly targeting the
yeah.
two-seater personal?
Yeah, there are basically endless use cases. I mean, from crazy stuff like servicing electric windmills in the ocean that you cannot approach by helicopter, for example, because of the fume and the combustion, the tank can explode near high current electric wires. So you'll get there by boat. In this case, you can go there and obviously service and charge high current, and also obviously first responders, which is the biggest thing. Rescue a person, hiker, get fast in traffic to situations where there's a collision. You need to pick up somebody fast. You can set a swarm of these, before and after a hurricane, right? For FEMA, just to rescue people before, after a hurricane. Think a $400,000 aircraft compared to a $15 million Airbus aircraft. You can buy close to 40 of these. And also the certification of the pilot is much less complicated than flying such a helicopter, right? So you can have multiple of team members of pilots ready to deploy fast. Police department, I mean, we had here a few weeks ago the Miami Beach Police Department. They're also looking at for reconnaissance, for immediate response. EMS, as I said, military. Send a few of them to rescue a pilot that ejected over enemy territory, or other soldiers. Again, it's a very low fly level. I mean, noise levels are very low, so it's the noise footprint is pretty low, and you can risk losing an aircraft like that, which is a 400,000 rather than millions spending, and you send it by remote control, so you don't even have to risk pilot getting somebody out of the danger zone. So the multiple
For EMS and transporting people out of an area in an emergency. It's a two-seater, but can that second seat be kind of reconfigured, or can the interior be reconfigured for those kinds of applications?
Yeah, we showed a initial design for a model that can have a stretcher inside, a 7 feet one, and they will take probably the other passenger out, but there's a team of soldiers, the wounded soldier, just help carrying him inside and just automatically being lifted off by remote control, cameras in and out. I mean, you know exactly where you are, and just take it out a few miles out of the danger zone.
So I understand you have raised at least $30 million thus far, but you're still seeking investors. What should people know about that?
Yeah, we raised now over 35. We are basically raising funds through crowdfunding. We have been doing that for quite a while. If you want to be a partner, you can go into our website and basically invest or pre-order. The beautiful part of what happened to us is because now we have over 12,000 investors at this point, and those investors gave us, so many ideas, questions, and throughout the last 4.5 years we've been raising, and it helped improve the vehicle. Even if it's it's a mom and pop or it's an aerospace engineer or VC, we're responding to all these questions. So you can go to doroni.io. You can find us there and ask questions and be part of what we do and our mission.
And that's DORONI.io. Doron Merdinger, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Awesome. Much appreciate your time. Thank you, Fred.
The Haven 10,000 lantern is a smartly designed, beautiful solar light that you will love indoors or out. It is waterproof with up to 1,200 lumens of brightness. That's a lot of light. And the base becomes a flashlight at the push of a button. The power comes from a built-in lithium-ion battery recharged by the sun. The solar panel is built in, or USB-C. The battery can even recharge your phone. Did we mention how durable it is? How it folds down and can run for up to 120 hours on a charge? But the real power of the Haven Lantern comes from the people behind it and their mission to provide this quality lighting to those in the world who need it most, including in disaster emergencies. Your purchase helps to fund those efforts, and if you use the code Techstination20, you'll get it at a 20% discount. That's Techstination20 at havenlantern.com. Create your haven.